Alrighty, guys. Welcome to our first ever podcast show. So ultimately, what happened was I tried to do it by myself, and after recording 2 hours clip, the file was corrupted, like genuinely gone. So this is why we asked for professional help. So for the first one, coincidentally, I literally texted. I didn't know. This is Shane Smith. If you want to introduce yourself.
Shane from Stack. So Stack3D is a lot of Americans like to call it. Stack3D.com. Yeah.
So I didn't know he was visiting. I found out through a friend that he is in Texas. So I immediately texted him and was like, hey, I just want, honestly, initially I just wanted to say hi to him. As, we spoke on the internet, on IG. And literally today as I was driving, I'm like, hey, we're recording a podcast. Do you want to come in if you have time? Just, come to the studio. And, he's staying nearby. And
Yeah.
I have no agenda. I genuinely do not have an agenda, so we'll just be
100% when I do trips like this is to see companies, whoever's in the area. You literally messaged me again. I told you, I thought you were in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing much today, so I think it's
Perfect
I rolled
timing.
down at 1 o'clock. I was free. Yeah, I wasn't going to say no.
Perfect timing, boys. Perfect timing. And it's interesting because I never even expected to have guests like that. I always imagined like podcasts to be, with our boys. So it's like the team Ekko. So we're just kind of like talking, and all of a sudden, like the very first one happens to be a guest. This is incredible.
No, it's great. It's great to finally meet you. Like I said, we've spoken a lot over the years. I don't think I followed Ekko since the beginning. It was mostly. Yeah, I think was it like 3-4 months in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just loved following the brand because, as I tell everybody, you do nothing that anybody else does. Whether it's like the honesty or the good, the bad, like you put things out there that no one says. You put things out there that probably people don't want to put out there, and it's just very genuine to, see. And it's fun to watch.
So I know there's like few formulas you can follow for success, which has worked and will work for the rest of our eternity. But the thing is, I've never been that good in school, right?
Yeah.
So I've always tried to find other ways. In this case, I just want to do sort of like, for me, before starting Ekko, I really kind of like went through a phase where like I didn't have friends. So it was like a way for me to build friendships, knowing others, and it just like it became organic. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wing it to see what happens. How can I kind of again, even right here, there's no structure. I had no idea what I was going to ask.
It's the best way to live.
Yep. See how it will end in a sense. Maybe it will be something beautiful. If not, maybe it's a mess. It's a hot mess. But that's, if you think about it, Ekko has never produced a perfect anything. We have not produced anything that's perfect. It's just like
your rhythm is like the rhythm of chaos. I think you're right. Like you're not following the traditional format of do an amino, a pre-workout, and a protein. Let it ride. Improves them, expand the categories, but then at the same time, like there are several companies that have found tremendous success that didn't follow that traditional path. Like C4 wasn't just C4 in the beginning.
Right.
Optimum, like I don't think they expected their protein to be the one that everyone goes to now.
Yeah.
All of these guys started with a model that a little bit different, and they get to a point and now they're seen as the epitome or the picture of success, but they all have the different paths that they follow. They end up in a different place and still find success. But I think your path is definitely today when there's like, 50 companies a month rolling out, like you're not following the norm, but it seems to be working 100%. So you can't argue.
Only problem with going through this mess is like I feel like I'm always on a constant fear, and that we're gonna go out of business tomorrow because I'm not joking. Since the very beginning, so I would tell the guys, I'm like, dude, do you think we're moving to the right direction? Because I feel like anything could go wrong. One of the launch could go absolutely horrible, and there's so many times when so many things went wrong and somehow it survived. And to this date, still after all this battle, it feels like because again, I don't know enough. I don't know about it was never meant. I was never meant to be in the supplement industry. Somehow happened. So versus like you have so many guys you can tell like right before they go live, they're just perfect. They perfectify every single thing. So I see them as like, okay, they're the guys that mitigated all the risk, that mitigated everything, and doing it right. And then there's me.
Yes and no, because sometimes if you have someone who follows the formula to a T, and doesn't work, which sometimes doesn't always work, they don't know what else to do.
Right.
Because they follow the directions, like you set up a table, you follow the IKEA instructions, and it doesn't come out. You're like, well, shit, I don't know what else to do because this is what the instructions said. But you have constructed a different way while still knowing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
So you are fully aware of what you can do, what you can change. If something goes wrong, you'll be like, okay, like you can control it to some extent.
So let me give you an example of the very first mess that I ran into. So I was trying to go get quotes from anybody, right? Whoever responded first, I was like, they were charging $300 for samples. I got the sample after 7 weeks, and then the taste was absolutely horrendous because I wanted to do natural flavoring on top of adding like ingredients like bacopa. It was like rhodiola rosy extract. So all these extracts, so they just had absolutely horrible end result.
That'll be the case.
And as I tasted it, I was like, I should delete my TikTok because I've been hyping it all this time for 6-7 months of this product, and then people are expecting it, and then all of a sudden this tastes absolutely horrendous. And then I was like, all right, you guys, the performance was beautiful when you chug it in. What if we ship out with a meal? Do you know like the water flavoring?
Yeah.
So you like squirt a little flavoring. It's like it flavors the little thing because they did such a bad job. What if I ship out the products to you like this, and I add from my pocket a meal that's gonna be like worth, let's say, 30 servings.
Yeah.
So you add that. And people were like, dude, do it. I will buy it.
I like how that's your alternative.
Yeah, I swear to God, I was like, okay.
Change it or do something different.
I was like, I love the formula. The pre-workout was like the best I've ever had. I want to go live with it. And then somehow I got lucky with a better manufacturer that flavored it better.
Yeah.
We didn't go after the natural.
Yeah. That was a little bit back in late 2010s, and it's kind of died off a bit. But they can taste like straight piss. It's not great.
We're just like so I'm so like unprofessional.
No, I think it's great though. But you understand that people do this all the time. Like some people have, like I know brands that have done this with batches, and shipped them out anyway. I remember someone who had a pre-workout that it tasted actually like people couldn't stand it, and some people returned it, but they knew that this was the case. You just don't know that other people do this. A lot of brands will do this.
Yeah,
and they might change on the next run. Sometimes they ship like pilot runs or stuff. This happens.
So that's the beauty of you, because like you're the news guy. You are essentially aware of, I would say, let's say the brands in here, at least like 80%, maybe like the ones that just went live, you don't know, but you're pretty much just like you know enough of each of the brand pretty much, and so that's why you're so valuable. I don't know if people, at least my audience, realizes the reason why I was so excited to meet you, because you're the guy that is essentially analyzing all these brands way more depth and then know in the back end enough to just like connect all the puzzles.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, we've been working with, we started with 10 brands, 20 brands that I communicated with back in like 2010. That was when it was just Optimum, Muscle Dig, Gaspari, like very simple back then. And then fast forward now, like it's, like I said, it's like a new brand every day. And some of them aren't that exciting, some of them are pretty damn cool. And then as soon as like Dethroner came across my table, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't, like, even though it was like a lot of over the top stuff.
Yep. That was the purpose. That was like just.
Yeah, I know. It was very obvious.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, I don't care how this is gonna go. I need to try what this is.
Yeah.
I bought a tub. I used a discount code.
I didn't realize you.
No,
okay.
I bought a tub.
Okay.
I can't remember whose discount code I used. I used someone's.
Okay.
And then I got it shipped all the way out, and I was like, man, this tastes horrible, but holy shit, this is like killer. Like it actually worked really, really well to the extent of like, this isn't just, like new people do shit all the time, it sucks.
Yeah.
You did something different, it actually worked well. Taste I didn't really care that much about, but like up there with guys doing $60 pre-workouts, that taste is actually not too far off what you're shooting for.
So during that time with Dethroner, again, I wanted to go after that 1 gram of base WAP. So I just learned out of nowhere that me as a brand owner, I can request free samples. And I was like, whoa, 100%. That just opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah.
So I requested, trademark ingredients like Synapsa, base WAP, and then I'm like, hey, okay, so everybody's using 508 as the biggest one. Like I done some research, like, and then I noticed like apparently the price is so high, people started using
254.
254, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that is my hook right there. So what I did was like I requested, I'm like, okay, how can you send me some more document on kind of like so I can like, verify exactly what's happening? Can I go up to 750? They're
You
like,
do
yeah.
sometimes they don't let you.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
like, can I go up to 750? They're like, yes. I'm like, okay. And then I came back next day. Can I go up to 1
gotta
gram?
get a double.
And she was like, let me ask. And then she came back. She was like, okay, yeah, go for it. And then it's increased the price, but when we tested it with like those samples,
What
I
a
was like,
difference.
incredible
Yeah.
difference. And I was like, holy shit, I have essentially 4 times the doses of my
Yeah.
competitors. I know for a fact I can tell a story.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if only it tasted maybe 2 points better, people would like that would have been our staple. That is what.
I think that's the cool thing about supplements is it's run by like gym bros.
Yeah.
Like, hey, 200 milligrams of caffeine is great. 400 is gonna be the shit. 600 is gonna be fucking wild. Like that's what we do. Like we don't want something that just works. We're like, maybe I'll put a little bit more. We do a heaping scoop. We don't do the single scoop.
Yeah.
No one flattens the scoop. Like that's what sports guys do. We want to keep adding, and if it
Yeah.
helps even by 5% by spending twice the money, I don't know. For me, it's worth it. I do that all the time.
Because if you think about it, like pre-workout is literally like the high point of your day. So
Whole day
Like-
is based around it.
yeah, for like you literally, because I was a data analyst back then, and I was like, I'm working, I'm doing whatever. So maybe there was like high point of my day when like my coworker said hi to me, and maybe we laughed at a joke, high point, right? But then I'm saving all of my energy. I can feel myself reserving everything so that 5 o'clock hits, and then I drive half an hour, so I'm
Yeah.
sipping on my pre-workout. That little like first 40 minutes is like the greatest, like the peak
Best.
of my day.
Yep.
And I was like, that's why I'm like, it's so, because I was adding, at that point I was just like mixing pre-workout, ingredients with other pre-workouts that I
Yeah.
added to. So I was like, and then I'm like, I realized why pre-workout is such like huge in this industry, because it's so fun, it's interesting.
And it's a
like,
ritual. Like you invest $50 and you throw it down before your workout.
Yep.
And if you're gonna have a shit day, you're probably
Yep.
not gonna throw it down. You're like, I don't deserve this pre-workout.
Oh yeah, that's where
So
the-
you like, and if you feel tired, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna raise the size of the scoop. And
There
I
are
feel that
times-
good. I might shrink it. It's the best.
There are times when you don't want to go to the gym, let's say, and then you took the pre-workout, and then you know for a fact, as soon as you took it, you're gonna force yourself to go.
Yeah.
And I just like,
Yeah, it's like a ritual. I think it's like one of the like inherently, it's become a part where like the thing before working out is content in itself. Like the fact that it doesn't taste great. Like when it hits, when you get high, like when you feel the pump, like that stuff
yes.
all comes from the pre, and it's like it's an actual product that didn't exist like 20 years. I mean, it was around earlier, but like it didn't.
They used to
become
put
this.
BCA in the pre-workout. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That was
there's
the thing.
some people-
I'm like, I've seen some of the formula. I'm like, how did they get away with it? Now that I think about it, one good thing is nowadays, so much transparency is happening because every single pre-workout is 100% labeled transparency.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Beautiful to see versus like let's say 5-10 years ago.
6 years, 7 years ago was probably it was Jim Stoppani from Jim. That was him. There were maybe 5 transparent brands back then, but Jim came out and said, "You need to know what's in it." And everyone like had negative things to say. Well, sometimes we don't need to know the terms or blah blah blah. But then, lo and behold, a year or two later, people started doing it. Muscle Tech switched to full transparency. I think they might have been one of the first.
Such.
Ghost, when they did their first pre-workout, there was a blend in there,
Yeah.
and then they switched. There are a lot of guys that all switched, and then now, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a blend in anybody. I mean, fat burners and high-stem products, they do it just to because it's the magical mix, but back in 2015, 14,
Yeah.
it was the Wild West. You just had to guess. Guess
Yeah.
the size of the blend.
That's the thing. It's like they're trying to make it like proprietary blend is like proprietary technology, right? It's like our patent, let's say, and our way to our secret that we don't want to give people is like
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people say like I don't want a company to copy me, but
yeah.
and it's a good argument. Don't get me wrong. Like if you come out with a killer stem blend, like synergistic blend that just lights you up more than you'd think,
Yeah.
you don't want someone to copy it. But all the company needs to do is take it to the lab, tell them what the 5 ingredients they're looking for, and they'll give you the amount per serving in maybe a week or 2. It won't take long. So you're slowing them down maybe.
Yeah, if they wanted to, they can literally just send
They
over.
can find out.
Yes.
So it's But the problem is that some brands that use that excuse of its proprietary technology might also be like, taking you for shit and like lying or trying to pull a fast one on you. So like, you can't tell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and there are some guys that do some good synergistic stuff, which is why I think the whole transparency thing just took over, because it's better to trust someone than to like take their word for it. And you won't find blends around much more.
I don't think any are getting over, because like right now, as soon what's happening is on TikTok, let's say, again, that's where we're based off of, right? So as you really come up with a new brand that has that, people are immediately calling them out. So even if they did run the first batch with that, they're almost forced to label it properly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that's the beauty also, because people are now aware, even if there's like few ingredients that they know, it's like, okay, they know citrulline, but they know they want like 8 grams of it to feel like it's a good pre-workout. And of course everyone knows beta. So the few ingredients people already kind of like know what to look for, few. But if you think about it, like a lot of bigger brands, I feel like take advantage of that little glitch over there. So they'll prioritize beta at 6.4.
Yeah.
Citrulline at less than 6 grams. Citrulline malate, let's say.
Yeah, there's been a switch, I think. It was citrulline malate for a while. That was like 2015, and then I think we started learning.
Yeah. I think Morpheus Mode definitely was one of those guys, from my knowledge at least. Yeah. Again, I don't know as...
Is he 10 grams of citrulline or something like that?
He was like 9, and then like 9, 10 is what he preaches. That's right, but like 9. 10 grams of citrulline, that's when people start to like question, like, what is that 2 by 1, the 2 to 1 ratio?
Well, because you get 2 to 1, which is citrulline to malic acid, which is theoretically 2/3 of it citrulline, and then you can get 1 to 1s.
Yep.
And then you can get a company that'll do citrulline malate. They won't tell you the ratio, and you're left to guess. But you would assume that if they're not telling you the ratio, it's because it might be a 1 to 1.
Yeah, I think at that point, like, you just automatically assume, because if they have two ingredients combined, then you kind of like, it is by default, because like with like rhodiola, in a lot of the extracts, they'll say like, okay, this is a ratio of like the 18 to 1, right?
Yeah,
and
it's just something they're proud of. They'll put it on the label.
A lot of times though, like, I think a lot of new brands don't know that it's required. So it's like, but I don't want to like, obviously, like, hopefully, because this is like a little bit, we're like more, we usually keep things like very like simplistic. This like, we're,
No, that's good.
I want to ask you in terms of like for Ekko, because from your perspective as what can we like genuinely do better as, like, because I do see myself as like this like, younger guy, immature guy, for us to sort of, be maybe like a little bit more respected and more, because unfortunately one thing I still get is like labeled as TikTok brand, which kind of like feels like it's just kind of like, which again, fair, because like we started there. So like for us to like, because I have third-party test results, I have the products, and like it's a line of products now, plus we got into health supplement now, and there's got more in works already. There's so many actually like on the works right now that like, again, I'm really desperately trying to cover every niche I can with in this like survival mode, instead of like taking the money out for myself, just trying to see if, there's a need for that ingredients, that product, I want to see if I can help those audience. But it's like, what can I...
The funny thing is, I would say don't change a thing, because I've spoken to a lot of brands, a lot of like legacy brands that probably want exactly what you have and have no idea how to get it, and they'll never be able to probably get it if their name is attached. Now let's just say, I know, there's a company from 1951 that wants to attract younger people. It's never going to work unless they completely detach their name. Like, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So like, you're sounding like you want to be more like a bigger brand, but I don't think you could do that. But you have to understand, in 10 years, your audience will grow with you.
Right.
And your reach will change. Your fans will grow with you. And if you're still hitting the younger audience, as you grow, your market grows. That's not the case with a lot of these brands. Sometimes there are brands that are from like 20 years ago, and their fans from 20 years ago just still take the stuff when they're like 50. And they may never, it's like if your mom takes something, it's probably not as cool, right? So like,
yeah,
immediately you're not encouraged. So it's hard for legacy brands to get that younger audience. You'd be the first one I know that wants to get that more legacy audience. But I think just do what you do, because the minute you try and do something that's not you, this is like back in 2010s, you had companies doing women's lines. They were pink and fun and whatever, and then they come and go. You had brands doing like lifestyle series that just didn't work. No company I think that I can think of has done like a successful series that targeted a separate audience that really stuck around, because you want to be able to extend what you have, and that's the best you can do. Entering things like, if you did a liver health thing, changing the formats to hit these different audiences, that's probably the best way to do it. Like if you did something like not that this isn't a good idea, but let's just say you did like a prostate health supplement, probably not ideal for a 20-year-old dude,
Right.
but you're going to hit a 40-year-old plus. So if you can attract him to your brand, if now jump the generation. But like, I don't think you would change anything you do, because you might alienate your audience. They might be like, why are you chasing older dudes? Like, why are you hitting a bigger market? Why are you trying to hit powerlifters? And that's the big problem that every big company faces, is that they think they can have both. And that's just inherently what they want to do. You're in that position where, like I said, you've got the younger audience, like you said. So I think trying to go bigger might not do well, but then it's also something I've never seen a company do. Like I've never seen a new company try and go for that audience, because I've never seen someone as young as you, or as young as your brand, I guess, take over an audience so fast, I guess. Prime, I guess, might be a good example in that sense. Like hitting a younger audience is a very different game, very different thing, but they are hitting a younger audience. People who drink Gatorade in a 50 might not find it appealing, especially if their kid enjoys it. They're probably like,
for kids.
Immediately they're like, this sucks. But like, that's probably the closest thing. And I don't think they give two shits if someone older is taking Prime or whatever. Could be wrong. But I think that doing what you're doing and the speed that you've done it, you should be extremely impressed, extremely proud. And there are a lot of things that, a lot of brands that would probably be, really, really wanting what you have, figuring out how the hell you did it, and you're sitting here saying you never planned.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's great.
It's funny because I feel like I've done nothing yet, if I'm being honest.
No.
Like actually, I'm so little. I'm like, when I see all these brands, they're so successful. They've done things so well organized, and there's like.
But they graduate to that. Like you start off with one or two dudes. Like Ekko started with a couple of people. It wasn't a lot of people.
Right.
And they all start there, but your story's not going to be the same because they did it back in 2000s. Like Redcon 1 was Aaron Singerman and Eric Hart. Like those two dudes. Aaron from Blackstone, Eric from BSN. Like these guys all started from something. So I mean, it's not. Don't take how you're doing it wrong. You sell like crazy. That's the one problem. If someone says to you like, oh, you should do this, you always have the answer like, well, guess what? I sold this much and I didn't do that. So no one can really tell you you're wrong. I wouldn't advise you to do anything, because whatever you're doing, I mean, you seem to be developing and growing, like in what, a year and 2 years coming up soon?
I think 16 months.
Yeah, what the hell? That's no. Yeah, no offense, like fuck that. Like, do what you do. And I would say, and maybe like the fact that you're afraid it's gonna like bust tomorrow, that's a good thing. Like having that, making you stay up until midnight, because that, I mean, just do it. Like it's a good way to do it.
I think more like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock every night. Like actually,
no,
I think I'd be lucky if I actually get sleep at like 12. It's genuinely speaking, that's where it feels like so much has happened in the last 14, 16 months. Like holy man. But anyway, you guys, our first podcast, again, surprisingly a surprise guest, Shane Smith from STACK3D. Just wanted to give you guys some perspective from the other end, which we've never been able to. And again, I think this is our first time ever actually being able to talk to somebody from that end, because we've always kind of been in this closed, environment with me and my team. We're so focused on like, let's say other projects like clothing, the gym, hopefully that will, the energy drink. So we've been so busy, we've never got a chance to. This, all of a sudden out of nowhere, opportunity came in and I wanted to clutch onto it just like I did for pre-workout. So I was like, immediately texted him as I was driving, like I said, and he said he'll be able to make it in.
Yeah.
We're here. Thank you guys for stopping by. Peace.